Oh, breaking news.
In game real time, it's hard to like make that bang bang call 100%. Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Saturday Sliders, your favorite spot for all things Major League Baseball, with a little extra love for the Blue Jays and the Giants along the way. In this week's episode, we will talk about which teams are going to take moves at the trade deadline. I'm Almar and I have my co-host Armando next to me. Let's talk baseball.
Thanks, Omar. Let's go around the bases. Omar, we had a pretty controversial All-Star game. It was not the best game from an All-Star perspective or best home run derby, but there was a lot of noise. I don't know if you feel the same way, but yeah. So let's start with the home run derby. Um, we got Brent Rooker who got hosed by 1 centimeter. Um, we have a new home run king champion from Cal. What is your takes on the home run derby?
Okay, Armando, let's start with the home run derby here because that's where all the controversy really, like you said. Look, I'm happy for Kyle Raleigh. He showed up out in front of a national audience and brought that big power we know he has. But let's be real here. The way they handled the format this year was messy at best. When Raleigh and Brett Rooker, like you said, they tied for home runs. Fans were expecting a classic swing off like Rooker
Yes.
has. Instead, they decided the winner based on who hit the longest homer. And Rooker missed out by, like you said, by a matter of inches.
Yeah.
That's not a drama. That's really deflating. And don't even get me started
Yes.
on just Chisholm basically trying to slap singles out there. So, but hey, credit to Kyle, like you said, for taking the crown. He showed up and made the most of it. The derby may not have delivered the fireworks we hoped for, but it definitely gave us something to talk about here, Armando.
Exactly. Well, my takes on the home run derby is I didn't know that actually a Hispanic player has been winning the home run derby for the multiple years now. So when they said Cal was the um, first non-Latin player in a long time, I was like, whoa, that's crazy to me. But to me, what it really stands out for me, are we seeing the star in the making in Cal Raleigh? Is everybody just seeing the national attention now? He's in the MVP. He's leading the league in home runs. So is a star born, or do we need to see a more consistent for the next 2, 3, 4 years of this kind of pace?
I believe when we were watching that home run derby, Armando, they pointed out that he was using that torpedo bat.
Oh wow!
He was using that torpedo bat when he was batting left. I did see if he was using torpedo bat when he was batting righty, but he was pointed out numerous times when he was in the derby. So that's probably what's causing the spike on how Rally's home run swing this year. But we'll see towards next year and after the All Star break, he keeps on making. But I think the main focus here is the torpedo bat that he's been using.
Yeah, you're right. Um, it's kind of crazy because it's kind of like the media people or people who are advertised for this sports organizations, they would like to, before a star is born, they will make them a star because of their appearance, right? Of fame. So this kind of sounds like more like that, but I think how Raleigh is in a good direction, but definitely we'll see if this is just a 1 year off or he's going to be continuing this kind of pace for years to come.
Yeah, and we're not taking away from what Cal Raleigh is doing this season. I'm just making the point that they were pointing it out on the torpedo bat that he was using, but he has power before,
Hmm.
but the spike from last year and this year it's night and day. So, but like,
Oh yeah, it's night and
like
day. Yeah.
it's night and day. But we're not taking away from Cal Raleig's potential here.
Hey, I'm okay with it. I grew up with Sammy Sosa with a cork bat, so I'm okay with it. All right, let's go to the All Star game. There was a lot of drama. We have the ABS came out like we talked about it last week. The ABS, the first time we used it. Uh, we have Kershaw and Freeman having a standing ovations from the Atlanta fans. We have Philly players who are mad because Jacob, um, starting pitcher from the Brewers, made the All Star game after five starts in his rookie year. We have the first swing off for extra innings. Tell me, what's your take on this?
Okay, let's get into this All Star game now. And first off, huge props to MLB and the city of Atlanta for how they handled the off field movements. The tribute to Hank Aaron, that's pure class, and tying it in with the fight for against cancer, that was powerful, Armando. And you can feel the emotion in the stadium. And honestly, moments like that are what make baseball special beyond the game itself. Now the game itself, what a roller coaster here. The National League looked like they were in full control, up 6-0, heading into the later innings, and then the American League stormed back, ties it up, the ninth inning with 2 outs. You couldn't have scripted it better. And then we get, like you said, the new swing off format, and Kyle Schwarber hits 3 bombs to seal it for the National League in dramatic stuff. But here's where I've got gripes, Armando. Schwarber wins the MVP. And yeah, he closed it out like I said, but he was hitless during the actual game. So meanwhile, Alonso smashed a 3-run home run that really broke it open for the National League. So for
He
me,
gets
the
hosed.
MVP. But hey, Armando, we're not the voters here. We're just scared to talk
Yeah.
about it, right?
Exactly. I saw the Peter Alonso's home run. That was a good one. So yeah, he got hosed. Well, my take is a little bit different. I was not happy with the All Star game. I was not happy. I didn't like the ABS. And honestly, just if this is what they want for the future to look like, it's just gonna make the umpires look really bad. And they're a part of the game as much as like people fans or people don't want them to be. Well, it's not that the fans don't want them to be a part of the game. They just want to have a crucial part of the game to have so much impact, right? Or throwing out a player when there's high emotions. But I didn't like it. All those challenges were like literally we're just talking about a sliver over the strike zone. Like we talk about umpire is human element of this game, and to me, I didn't like it. I know there's still tooling, but what I saw from the All Star game, I'm not looking forward to it.
Yeah, that you make a good point there, Armando. When we were talking, exchanging texts during the game, I think it was Nick Kurtz that
Yeah.
challenged the strike call. I think it was a strike call. The umpire was smiling, they were laughing. It's an all-star break, yeah.
Oh yeah.
They're having fun, but imagine if it's an actual game,
Yeah.
the
Exactly.
umpire will be pissed.
Oh
That
yeah. Like to be questioned that way, and all the balls were so close. They could have gone the other way, right? So it just depends on the umpires that night. To me, I didn't like it. What the other thing that I didn't like, it was too much Dodger love. I have no idea what was going on. It's like too much Dodger. You saw Ray Roberts just like celebrating the ABS and the swing off. He was just enjoying the running up and down the bullpen. I mean the dugout, and I'm like, what is this going on? Like he was not even this excited when he stole second base in the American League
sucks.
pennant. So to me, I didn't like that. I didn't like that Roberts pulled Kershaw for him to get a standing ovation. Um, and obviously, he's a Hall of Famer. But this commissioner exemption, like Matt Scherzer, did not get invited to the game, and he's a future Hall of Famer around the same age. They've been preaching the same thing. Justin Verlander, same thing. Why we're not there a part of the game? So to me, it's like there's a lot of celebration for a player who has not announced retirement.
And then we talked about this last week on last week's episode. We weren't happy about the selection of Kershaw for the All Star break because he just came back from injury. Yes, like you said, he's a future Hall of Famer, but this is an All Star break for the players that actually are grinding all throughout the season
Exactly.
up
Yeah.
until last week. So, but like you said, yeah, he got pulled by his own manager just to have
Exactly.
standing
Right.
ovation.
So it's
Too much attention. Too much
yeah,
attention.
too pre manufacturer attention. I did not like that. And also, so he did the same thing. Dave Roberts did the same thing with Freddie Freeman. He stopped the game so Freeman can get the love from Atlanta, which we haven't seen it since he left Atlanta. Every time he goes back, he gets a standing ovation. But to me, I just saw way too much Dodger. Um, and I didn't enjoy that one bit.
So much salt in your mouth right
I just know it's too much. It was too much for me. I couldn't handle it. That's just my take off the swing off. Everybody was confused. That's my take. None of the players like Webb and Ray, they were kind of like we didn't know what was going on. A lot of players didn't know what was going on unless the three batters that were selected because they were pre-selected and they were like told like, hey, just in case we're in extra innings, you're part of a a swing off, right? So I didn't care too much. But what do you think if they use this format in the regular season?
now. Get out of here. It's like the runner on second base. Well, this is not soccer or football like the actual soccer where you have the penalty kick. This is not hockey that you have the penalty shot, like the shootout. This is baseball. It's meant to be long and grinding at bats. Even if it goes to extra innings, that's how it's supposed to be played.
Yeah.
If you change it too much, then it's gonna be boring. It's fun if it's an All Star break, but if it's in the regular season, in in the playoffs you can't do it. Not at all. But
No,
even if
and I
it
hope so not too. But they were really the Major League Baseball. They were trying to get ratings up. That's what exactly. That's where they all this celebration or all the new creative ideas that they had in All Star. They're just trying to boost some ratings up so they can get more attention. Um, so
and they
to
did that.
me,
They did that. They were
yeah,
able to get a lot of viewers.
yeah. So it worked, right? So and part of it is because you had a lot of new formats, and including you might say that uh, the rookie pitcher from the Brewers, Jacobs, Mr. Rocky, a lot of people, veterans, and were pissed around the league. You know, the only team that really spoke up was the Phillies, and they were saying like, "That's a joke. Like we're turning into the banana league here. Like it's kind of like players who are really they it means something to them. Baseball is still the one sport that like All Star game that it means something to players and you're just robbing off players. Exactly. Five pitches. I mean, 5 games, and the player makes the All Star just because he pitches a consistently of 103 miles per hour, which he showed that fastball in the All Star game, and he had a three out straight. So he was impressive, but still, like over players like Suarez from the Phillies who's having a good season, and he was an All Star last year. He didn't get the knob over a young player.
And yeah, there's still too much pride here with the players. And some of the players here, they have clause on their contract. If you make the
Oh,
All Star
exactly
selected,
right.
you get an MVP All Star, such like that. So you're taking away those from the
Yeah,
players, right? So
exactly. So I in which and I I'm just a little more fire up because I know we talked about it last week, but now that the game, that's actually pretty much what we're talking about, and it's a little frustrating now to see it, right? So,
yeah, because but the thing is, we don't have anything to watch.
exactly, the longest week of the year, right? So it's like, oh, the All Star game. Anyway, let's move on from the our takes from the All Star game. Omar, did you see today's play of Acuna and Tatis Jr. Throwing out a base runner at third?
I did. At first, I was able to see the Acuna throw actually on X, and I was like, oh, that was a great throw. And then you mentioned about that piece, so I had to look for it. You want my take on it?
Yeah, what I want to know which one was the better play,
Okay, all right, okay,
not the better throw. I want to know which one is the better play.
all right. I'll analyze it for you. So, um,
Okay.
both throws were absolute rockets. Acuna Jr. and Tatis Jr. showing off hands, like you said. No doubt about it, but if I had to pick one, I'm going with the Ronald Acuna Jr. on this one. Hear me out, Armando. That throw
Okay.
was made of frozen rope, and what makes it even more impressive is the angle and momentum he had to work against. Acuna was moving away from third base, so he had to stop, plant, turn, and still unleash an absolute missile on target. That's not easy, but most outfielders airmail those throws that are airmail on top of shortstop's head, but we threw a dart here. Um, let's talk about that runner, Rivas from the Yankees here.
Yeah.
He did a bold-headed, lazy base running moment there, not sliding into third base, but still you can't take anything away from that Acuna throw. That's an A plus throw, elite arm strength.
Yeah, you're right. For me, I'm going the other way. I'm going with Tatis Jr.'s throw as the better play. Great, not to take anything from Acuna. That was an amazing throw, right? So, but Tatis Jr., that was actually a baseball play. Runner where O'Neill was tagging up. Tatis knew he was tagging up, so like, and he needed to be ready to launch that from field. And we have a base runner sliding. O'Neill slid the way you're taught to slide, and Tatis just a strike to the third base to Manny, caught it just on the pocket and tag him out. That is a beautiful play. I like to see it. And the reason why is that because of the Yankees base runner. That was a lazy throw. That was a lazy base running out of his part. He thought he actually had a triple, and you see the you see the third base coach of the Yankees saying slide, 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 and he just kind of stopped running. So to me, it would have been a better play if the base runner was actually running, and Acuna throwing him out. That is my take.
But at least we have a similar take on Rivas, the Yankee runner.
Yes, exactly. So everybody was doing their job except for that guy.
Yeah,
the yeah,
like
not a
like
Yankees podcast.
not a Dodgers and Yankees podcast.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you said, we had a different take on which 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 was a better play. I saw the Tatis Jr. Throw. He but he had this he knew what he was doing there, but Acuna Jr. He turned around, so that's why I was like that's impressive because if if
Yeah.
he do- if he did if it if Acuna Jr. did did turn around and throw that missile, then I'll be like, oh, okay, that's not a good play. But he threw a dart.
Oh
But yeah,
no, like they're both impressive. Nothing,
like
right?
we
Like,
like we mentioned, Rivas, you're probably back in the minors tomorrow.
yeah, exactly. No, no, that's really great. But you know what? I love it. I love that play. Another reason why I love that play from Tatis and O'Neill challenging because everybody knows that Tatis has an arm, right? He has a above average, like um right hand or outfield throws, and O'Neill challenged that. Like he's like, I'm gonna challenge him to throw, and I like that.
And
A
yeah,
lot of times, a lot of rate base runners will not even test it. When you have a really a good arm in the outfield, they won't test it, and
and
I love that he challenged that.
and O'Neal is not slow.
No, like he's a big
He's
guy,
a
but
front
he
runner.
was moving.
So, yeah. Yeah,
So
you make a good point there, but I'm still voting for the junior.
yeah.
You're not changing my mind. You're not changing my mind.
No, 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 no. Those two throws. I don't think Tatis Jr. is getting a lot of attention because today everybody's talking about Acuna's throw, which rightfully so. But we had a grand slam, Tatis Jr. Um, throw. Like there was a lot of action to be for the first day back from the All Star break, right? So, but
Yeah,
obviously that's a highlight reel for.
it is actually exciting to see baseball again.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Well, that is it for Around the Bases. If you like this content, please subscribe, follow, and like. All
You
right,
got
so let's go into our next topic. We're going to be covering the 2025 MLB trade deadline. Omar, let's start in the American League, Omar, with the three division leaders. We got the Jays, from Toronto. We got the Detroit Tigers and Houston. Which of those three teams do you think that needs to make a trade?
okay. I'll talk about Blue Jays when the Blue Jays options here when I talk about the Blue Jays update. I'm going out of that three division leaders right now and go with the most obvious one here, Armando. With so many teams hanging around the playoff picture, the line between buyers and sellers is definitely blurred this year. But if I had to pick one team that's poised to make a blockbuster move, which won't surprise anyone, I'm looking at the New York Yankees here. They had an 8-game lead in the AL East not too long ago, and they blew it. Now they're clinging in they're clinging to a wildcard spot. And let's be real, Yankees fans won't sit quietly if the front office stands pat. Their most glaring hole is third base, and with reports that the Diamondbacks might make Eugenio Suarez available, you know the Yankees will be all over that. He may not be, he will solve the Yankees issue there on third base and the right power bat that they actually need. And that's a major upgrade over what they have been rolling out there at the hot corner in New York. The pressure's on in the Yankees here, and I don't think Brian Cashman can afford to sit one out. Expect the Yankees to be loud at this trade deadline.
Yeah, I think no, you're absolutely right. I do think the Yankees. This is actually a kind of like a Yankees move, to be honest with you. They're looking for somebody with a big bat, best offensively. Swat, Inesio Suarez, he's actually probably the best player out there who has more power than any other one in the trade deadline right now. So that is just a typical Yankees move. I see it. Somebody who's like subpar defense, but he can hit a lot of home runs, and I see that as well. I think the team that out of the division winners, I think the Houston Astros need to do something. They need starting pitching, and of course, every team will like starting pitchers, right? So to me, without their Jordan Alvarez, who hasn't pitched most of the season today, they need starting pitchers, and I think somebody like you need a because is an older team, so you can't really invest too much, right? So I will go with Seth Logo. I know that's like American League, but I think that fits perfect. Or Zach Geller, 1 year rental, just like the rest of the season, right? So I think for me that is Houston Astros, and another team I might just say because I was being very critical of the Boston Red Sox. There's they have a winning record since the Devers trade. Since they got rid of him, Boston Red Sox have a winning record. When everybody thought that they were selling out, their season is over. Boston Red Sox are starting to win now, and they're tied for the third wild spot. I think they need pitching. I think that's going to help them. You can Ryan Heasley from the St. Louis Cardinals make a perfect sense for them, reliever. Also, Sandy uh, Marlins Marlins pitcher, who's pretty much all the trade rumors are they have him moving. So I think this sounds like a Red Sox when they just load up on arms. If
Yeah,
for this
yeah,
season or next season,
definitely. You hit the ball there, Armando. Really on the nose here with the Houston Astros. I was actually looking at them, and you're right. They're gonna be looking for starting pitchers, and like you said, everyone will be looking for starting pitchers.
yeah.
It's
And
uh,
we have a lot. 2 more weeks before the trade deadline. There's some bubble teams that can make a push or fall out. So we'll see. We'll find out who's the real contenders and who's pretenders, and who sells and or doesn't stay. Right. So let's move on to the National League. We got the Dodgers, Cubs, Phillies are all with the divisional leaders, and the wild cards. We got the Mets, Brewers, um, and the Padres, and then we got the couple games back from the Giants and the Cardinals and the Reds. Give me, in your opinion, of the National League, who needs to make some moves?
okay, from the Yankees, we're moving to the other side of the subway here. The New York Mets are in a similar boat here, Armando, after splurging on one solo this offseason. There is no way they can sit back and do nothing at the deadline. The fans won't accept it, and honestly, neither should the front office. If there's one move I could absolutely see happening, it's the Mets going for a top tier starting pitcher. One name, you've mentioned it already, is Zach Gallen of the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Yeah,
We know he has been struggling this year, but a change of scenery in a big market playoff push might be exactly what Zach Gallen needs. And here's the kicker: he's a rental, so Gallen said to
yeah.
get paid after the season. So the price tag won't be that steep. I don't believe so. So for Mets team looking to win now, it makes all the sense in the world. Pair him up with say pair him up with the front end rotation here, and suddenly you've got a good caliber starting rotation. If the Mets are serious here, Armando, they need to make a noise here.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think actually the Mets, um, Seth Logo and Zach Geller makes perfect sense for the Mets. They need starting pitchers like everybody else. But Zach Geller's his numbers are actually very decisive because he started the season very poor. Month of April and May was not really good for him. But in the last couple of starts he has had, he has looked like the old Zach Geller from like 2 3 years ago, the dominance. So he's getting back on track and he's hitting up. So whoever gets him, he's gonna have a good pitcher because he's been pitching differently from the beginning of the season.
Yeah,
Um,
I have to point this out, Armando. You pointed it out a few weeks ago with our episode. The Marlins are winning right now, and even though they're quite a ways down there in the wild card, they might think, oh, we might have something here. We might not blow it away, blow
yeah,
out the team away, right? They had a walk off win just
yeah,
today.
today, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. There was a lot of dramatic baseball today.
So yeah, so they might not blow it out, but we'll keep an eye on them because if they don't blow it out, then some teams will be scrambling on which team they can make a trade for, right?
Well, I think let's talk about the Marlins because I was gonna say this. I do agree with you. I don't think they should be sellers. I think they should be buyers. But if they, but they are sitting 7 games from the last wild card, and they have to leapfrog a lot of teams and contend for the rest of the game, for the rest of the season, right? So that's a hard challenge. But if they're gonna do something, I would trade kind of like their veteran players who's been there, who you can get a lot, like a Sandy, um, right? You can get a lot, but keep some of those young talents that they have and start building, right? So get some players back or some already top prospects ready to play so they can build go in the right directions because let's face it, it's been a long time since the Marlins been good.
Yeah, do they still have Josh Beckett?
No, he was a Dodger after that. uh, um, no, great. Now I'm thinking about the Marlins beating the Giants back in '03. Great. Damn Marlins. um, yeah, like for me, I think to me, I think the Dodgers need to make something. I think with the all three division leaders need to make something, right? So, but the Dodgers, for being in first place, and they have had so many injuries, especially in their starting rotations. They don't have the pitching depth that they had the last couple of years. Last year, they won the World Series with literally just 3 starters, right? So, like they they need desperately pitching, and I think this is kind of they can go after like a Johan Duran from the Twins. They can go Emmanuel Chase from the Guardians. I actually see him. He already looks like a Dodger to me, Emmanuel Chase. So I'm I like him. But if he goes to the Dodgers, I'm gonna have to change my mind on how I feel about Emmanuel. But they need strong relievers and start capable veteran pitchers to make a push in the World season because um, they just can't handle like a limp along, right? So at one point, the injuries will get to you.
You make a great point there, Armando, with Emmanuel Clase and Johan Duran of games here. Because the Dodgers have blown a lot of games, a lot of
Yeah.
late inning
Oh yeah.
games. And they made an investment with Other Scott here, and Other Scott hasn't delivered. So, like you said, they're always a win now kind of team. So I won't be surprised if Emmanuel Class A gets there and you won't like it because you love Emmanuel Class A.
Right. Exactly. So, so my thing, I just because of the wild card teams, there's so many, and everybody's like around it. So I don't think the I think all the wild card teams should be just hold on, not sell or not buy, because there's just a lot of teams, right? So, um, but I think the starting pitch, the division leaders need to make some noise if they want to continue being in first place. I could see the Cubs being interested in Sandy from the Marlins, and also who really will be great. I would love for Emmanuel Chase to be a Philly. They need relievers. Everybody does, right? But with that offense, and you put him as a closer in that team, that to me that's a recipe for success, in my opinion.
Yeah, there's a lot of late inning pitchers that are going to be available at the deadline. It'll be a gong show for all the teams trying to like load up for the postseason, like we mentioned it all throughout the week and other episodes. Come playoff time, the games get shorter and it's
Yeah.
not.
So yeah. So that's any other thoughts on the trade deadline?
Yeah, we just basically want to get ahead of everything. Just few days from now and then next week, we might get breaking news on players.
Yeah, exactly right. So
It's um, the teams will be gunning for to get ahead of everyone.
Right. So that's it for our trade deadline talk. If you like this content, please follow, subscribe, like. It will help our channel grow. Thanks. Well, Omar, let's get into our Giants and Blue Jays update.
Giants, Blue Jays.
And this is great because they're facing each other for this weekend series. And honestly, I really don't want to talk about the game right now. So let's just concentrate on our uh, Giants trade deadline um, topic discussions, right? So I think there's no other news. We had the All Star break. Um, from like I think for the last three um, episodes that I've been talking about Justin Verlander and Birdsong a lot. So those issues are still there. I think if the Giants are want to contend and being in the race for the wild cards or the division, they have to do something in the back end of the rotation because right now they're giving up those wins away. Like it's pretty much three straight losses for Justin Verlander and Birdsong. He had a skip, but he also had back-to-back losses, and they have not looked good. Um, a lot of Giants fans are pissed off, and yes, he's a Hall of Famer, but at one point it's like you might have to sit down for a while because it's not looking good. And the Giants are Buzz Posey and the rest of the front office and the ownership team. They're saying we want to make the playoffs this season. So you just cannot continue to leave those two pitchers in the rotation. You have to experiment. So yeah, so that's a starting. Also, Eric Miller, our only left-handed reliever, got hurt. There's no timetable for his return. He's been pretty solid all year, consistent. He has some dominant games, so that's a big loss for the Giants not having a left-hander. So if we're talking about making trades, they need to left-hander pitching in the bullpen. And so I think that is the 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 direction they should be going, trading for a left-hander reliever because they need it. Um, Obviously, the offensive woes is still continuing today against the Blue Jays, which my kids were very happy because Giants were playing the Blue Jays, right? So they were making it easier. I mean, they were like, "Oh, we're cheering for both teams." That I was like, "Yeah." So um, the Giants had 11 hits today on the game. 11 hits. The Blue Jays has 9 and scored 4 runs, and we had 0 runs. And multiple times we had runners on first and third with no outs, and they could not get a player across the home plate. So able to say, well, you need to trade for power, but Giants already did that with Devers. They wanted to be ahead of the game, and he's baseball gods are not happy with Devers. Let's just say that because it hasn't not been a good solution. And on paper, with Chapman, Willie, um, Devers, and the rest of the guys, supporting cast, they should be able to be put in Sonoma, but they're not. So there's a lot of rumors that they're going to be trading for another outfielder. But where do you put them, right? Like they already don't have. They have a platoon players playing first, and they have like platoon players playing right field. Um, so another outfielder, unless you trade one of those guys and get another outfielder, but I'm not sure what the offensive was. But this lineup needs to start hitting and scoring if they want to continue in this race. Uh, the one if they do trade for somebody, I think Brent Rooker it'd be a good candidate to trade. Giants and A's don't really trade with each other, but if they can get Brent Rooker, he's an offensive He's an offensive guy. He's on his last year of his contract for the A's. Um, he's 30 years old, so it's completely a rental, right? So it's just an it's just trying to fix this offense because it's not looking good.
Yeah, it's just not a it's a rough night for you.
Yes.
um, just to put you on the spot here, Armando, which is more concerning for you? Justin Verlander's struggles or your offense?
Oh man, I think Verlander struggles. His last pitch that we saw, it was not even close to the strike zone. Like Bailey had to actually stand up and catch the ball. The fastball is a fastball, not even close. I think inconsistency. He looks really good one game, and the other one is just like he's giving up the game before the fourth inning, right? So you can have like productive. You can play small ball, or you can go through like a couple good games. When the offense scores more than 5 runs, in other games you're like 1 run game, right? Low scoring games. You can still win, but with those offensive problems. But with Justin Verlander giving up 4 to 7 runs before the eighth inning, especially for a team who's not they don't manufacture runs, you cannot. If you give up more of the runs, 5 runs in the early innings of the games, that's already a defeated team already because they know they cannot score more than 5 runs.
Yeah, and we don't want to. We really don't want to throw the word washed out, especially
Yeah,
with
like
a future Hall of Famer like Justin Verlander, but he's struggling now. And like I mentioned a few weeks ago, you the Giants might get um, a starting pitcher and get to a 6 month rotation here, and then so you can have a rest for JD here.
yeah, so I think that's just the updates. It's same thing, offensive rules, the back end of the starting rotation, right? And trade deadlines. I think they need somebody kind of gets the offense going, right? Um, so that's kind of what they need right now. I mean, and also a left-handed reliever, right? But that's um, kind of like a Brand Rooker. A lot of people throwing out are throwing out. Let me check my notes. Merrill Kelly from the Diamondbacks, but I don't see a trade between division rivals, like interdivision trades. It doesn't really happen a lot, so rarely happens. So, but Kelly from the Diamondbacks. He's actually batting under 300. Like I think it's 298, so it's pretty good. So really great, right? So, but they need somebody to start spark plug this offense. So far, they don't have that.
Yeah, it like I mentioned, where you got involved that extra outfielder, right? So,
Exactly.
but you need like you said, you need a jump start here. Try
Yeah.
to control here for your offense.
Yeah, and I think like there's been a lot of reports now that um, which it shows because he's like Divers is actually he's dealing with the groin and lower back injury. He was pretty quiet in Boston, but he's been actually struggling with all season. So you see him when today he was trying to stretch a double, which he got there safe, but like you can tell like he was in pain running for 2 seconds. So and he's already a big guy, so um, yeah, so that's kind of like say yeah, so that's what's going on. So like could be that he's that's why he's not being able to carry this Giants or spark plug this offense the way everybody thought. But at this point, their Giants might be looking to someone else to add because yeah, they're gonna have to score runs eventually. So
Yeah, that's yeah. You need something. You need
yeah,
something. And
and for the
I,
Birdsong issues, a lot of people are saying like, well, maybe it's time for those top prospects to come up from AAA. maybe send Birdsong down to fix his mechanics, right? But it's still you're switching a young pitcher versus a young pitcher, and we do see it once in a while, like those generation players that, um, like a Tim Lincecum, he came late when he first came, it's the second half of the season, or so. Yeah, so another pitchers. Anyways, yeah. So we'll see what happens. I think Logan Webb goes tomorrow, so we'll see. Our ace. We need an ace performance after today's loss and losing the series against the Dodgers.
Well, you can rest up Robbie Ray and Logan Webb there.
Yeah, exactly.
We don't mind.
Yeah. Anyways, that is it for my Giants update.
Uh, Thank you so much for that for that giant update. I know it's not fun right now. It's not fun, but thank you so much, Armando, for your update here. All right, let's talk about the Blue Jays here. They went into the All Star break on a bit of a sour note. Armando dropping their series against the A's, which, let's be honest, is not how you want to close out the first half. And now things don't get easier. Like you said, Blue Jays welcome another Bay Area squad, your San Francisco Giants, for a 3 game set in Toronto. Uh, we've got a bit of homecoming storyline here with Matt Chapman and Robbie Ray making the return to the six. Should be a fun series to watch, and I know you and I are gonna have a lot to say about it next week
Yeah.
when we go over this weekend series. But let's be real, Armando. The Giants aren't playing around too. They're in the thick of things here in the wild card race in the National League. So they're throwing the gauntlet here, like I told you via text. The Jays with a nasty pitching trio. I know Justin Verlander did do well on the first game of the series, but the Jays are are facing Robbie Ray and Logan Webb, like you said. So that's three legit arms and a huge test for the Jays contract to prove they belong on top of the AL East. Like we mentioned this, Armando. The Jays blanked your Giants for nothing on the series opener, but the series has just started. So don't be too sad about it. It might be a different story tomorrow, something, but I'm hoping the Jays can win this series. So but
I didn't watch watch the first 8 innings. I didn't bother with the ninth. I was like, I'm done.
yeah, Jeff Hoffman strike out the side. So don't watch the highlights. So now while
Yeah.
we're on the topic of pressure and big moments, let's talk trade deadline. Rumors are swirling that the Blue Jays are in the market for a front end starter, but honestly, I don't see many true aces available right now. So if they can find the right fit, I can see them pivoting to the bullpen. One name that stands out to me, we've talked about him, Johan Duran of the Twins. He's an electric closer. The Jays and the Twins have a history of making deals, so this isn't far-fetched at all. A guy like Duran could really help close out games, tight, tight games, something the Jays have struggled at times with Hoffman. And here's a wild card move I'd love to see Eugenio Suarez. Not only would he give the Jays a legit everyday third baseman, but you also block the Yankees for feeling one of their biggest needs. That's a smart
Yeah,
play
that
on
is
both
true.
sides. Upgrade your lineup and play him away from your division rival and a team that's chasing you atop the AL East. So, bottom line, like we've mentioned this, the Jays are serious about winning now. They need to make a move. Anything short of that, and it's going to feel like a letdown for the team that should be all in this year. And that's pretty much about it for the Blue Jays update coming out from the All-Star break.
Yeah, I think for the Blue Jays, in my perspective, they want to continue holding on to this three game lead against the um, ahead of the Yankees. They need to continue the way they're playing. I don't think this is. I think the perspective like, oh, this is just a gritty team. They came out of nowhere, Cinderella. Like, no, they're not playing like that no more. They're playing like they belong here, and they are going after the division. They're just not settling for a wild card spot. So, I starting pitching. I think that's what I said. Starting pitcher. I said that like 3 weeks ago or a month ago. I said that the team that needs to make is the Toronto Blue Jays. They need to go for it. This is their year. I think I mentioned Zach Geller a couple weeks ago that he will be great, but he's getting a lot of attention from the Mets. But another pitcher, which is not going to cost you a lot, is actually Mitch Keller from the Pittsburgh Pirates. He's actually he's having his when you look at the numbers, it looks pretty terrible, but he's actually having his best season in his 7 year career. Um, Another pitcher, he could be kind of like a finally things are clicking in, and obviously a lot of times we talked about early, they're just Pirates are not scoring very well, so the pitchers have to carry a lot of the weight. But that's a that's a good rental, and for me, that's another Blue Jays. It makes sense for them to find a starting pitcher.
Yeah, one player I did mention that the Jays might be looking at will be you keep mentioning his name, Sandy Alcantara of the Marlins here. He has nasty stuff, but he was coming from an injury. But if the Jays are looking at the front end starter, Sandy Alcantara fits that bill. Again, Zach Gallen, like you mentioned, he hasn't been pitching that well this year, but with the amount of teams looking for starting rotation, starting pitching help, it might be harder for the Jays to get that front end starter. So they might be looking at back defense.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of teams at least calling to the Marlins about Sandy. It just makes sense. He's one of the best pitchers available at this year's trade deadline, right? So, um, and the Mets and the Marlins are always sellers at the trade deadline. So, so I think, yeah, like I think it just they should be called. The Jays should call the Marlins and say what's gonna take, right? So,
Yeah, just to mention, I saw this on X. Teams are calling the Pirates for bowl skins and they got shut down. They're not trading bowl skins, they said.
oh yeah,
But but like you said, it's worth calling, right?
yeah, it's worth calling. No, you have to give up a lot to get Paul Skeens. Well, hey, at least you made the call, right?
Oh yeah. Can you
You
can you
can.
can, can you imagine if the Jays land bowl skins?
Oh
But
man.
we're just dreaming right now anyway.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
it'll be tough to land bowl skins right now, even for any team.
Yeah, so yeah, I think with yeah with Kevin Gossman and Bissett, like I think to add a little extra help, I think this the Blue Jays will be um just very serious about this year, right? So
Yeah, and and because they want this six man rotation to help out Gossman and to help out Scherzer because they're not young anymore. So going down the stretch, they want the 6 man rotation to get extra rest for those starters with them. So I can see them looking at front end rotation, but if they can run, so
yeah,
I think
but
it's
I
the
think, but also like it's for the it's electric. The Blue Jays fans, they're showing up to the games now. Like they're supporting this team because they're winning, and they're averaging like 40 plus in the last 2 weeks. Like it's been a very electric in downtown Toronto. So they, I see why now the ownership was like let's reward our fans and go after the playoffs. And so I think like you need also the help from the owners to say like we support you. If you're close or you're going for like, it's like we support you. We thank you fans for showing supporting this team. Let's go. Let's reward the team and the fans by going after some key players.
And I've seen reports too that the Jays will be willing to trade their top end prospects. So that's saying a lot. With
Exactly. Oh, that's
plus,
good.
plus, like we mentioned with Juan Soto, the Jays made a huge commitment with Vlad Guerrero with that 500 million. So why not go all in if you committed to them to
Exactly.
the contract, right?
But definitely they have to make something because it's not gonna get any easier for the Toronto Blue Jays because they have the Giants in town this weekend. Then on Monday they have a three-game series against the Yankees, and you know that the Yankees are gonna want to have revenge. What happened to them in Canada Day, like in New York, right? So, and then after that series, they have a four-game series against the Detroit Tigers. So it's not getting any easier for the Blue Jays. So they
And yeah,
need they
yeah,
need the support.
that's true. And we've already seen that the New York Yankees were lining up their top
Oh
MLB.
yeah, yeah.
So
Carlos
I think
Mordones. I'm starting the on Monday.
yeah, it's gonna be back speed and road on. So
Yeah.
so yeah, we're ready for it. But like you said, it's not gonna get easier. You get the Yankees after the Giants, then you get the Detroit Tigers, which is atop the AL right now. So yeah, it's fun right now. Like you said, it's fun to watch the Jays because they're winning, and hopefully they keep winning.
Yeah. Well, we got 64 more games, so this is the push. This is the All-Star break is not the halfway of the season, right? So there's 64 games, and this is the time that you can start the contenders start separating themselves from the pack. So we'll see what happens in the next 2 weeks. So it would tell a lot from all the teams.
Yeah, it's gonna be exciting for the Jays and the Giants here, and hopefully in October we'll see them play in the postseason. So uh,
Correct.
we'll keep you updated with everything that's going on with MLB and Giants
Well, that
and Jays.
is it for another episode of Saturday Sliders.
We'll see you next week.